everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This side Priya Bhatia. And in this specific discussion, I will be sharing with you an orientation class of my recently launched Data Careers Launchpad. So, if you really want to build a career in data science, data analytics, or in general in AI specific domain, then this video is for you. Maybe you might have a lot of questions that what exact skill set which is required in order to become data analyst or data scientist, how they are completely different. I mean, not completely, but yes, there is a broader scope in data science as comparable to DA specific subject. Apart from this, what exactly modules we have to learn, what could be the sequence of it, all those questions I'm answering over here. So even if you are motivated yourself to learn at your own end, this specific video will provide you a structured guidance. So please make sure watch the video till the very end. This will help you a lot in terms of getting a clarity that how this course looks like, how many recorded videos you will get on a weekly basis. This is the very first week. Learners have already started getting the videos of Excel specific module. You will get the complete information about the batch in this specific discussion itself. And this is kind of I'm sharing this recorded content so that you can get a feel of how the live classes looks like. So with that, let's get started. Now, when we talk about data ecosystem, usually I believe that we have three main entries over here. When we talk about data ecosystem, we have three main job roles over here. Can anyone guess what are those three job roles? Maybe you might find out in the JDs, on LinkedIn, on Naukri. So, anyone who can just make a guess? First job role is with respect to the DA, right? This is the main starting entry, data analyst. Anyone who just want to get started with this data ecosystem, I highly recommend to all the freshers, to all the working professionals, that they should ideally start with this DA specific part, because in DA the core focus is to, what is the core focus? The core focus is to analyze, interpret, and derive the insights with respect to the given data set or given data. So that's the core role when we talk about something called as data analyst people. So if you met any of the DA people, you will observe that this is the main job role which they are doing in their daily work. So depending upon with respect to what specific domain they're working in, uh, they have a different sort of data set. But the common thing is that their main job is to analyze the data and to help the company to make the decisions, to derive the insights with respect to a given data, so that companies will be able to optimize the outcomes, right? That's the first specific job role which you will find in data ecosystem, which is quite common. The second job role, again, you will find it again very common, is data science job role. So I usually have an experience working in this specific domain. If you'll ask me personally, I think I have not shared about my professional experience part. So it's been around again 5 years approximately. I'm working in this field of data science only. Multiple projects I have done, freelancing also, and in the firms as well, in the startups, in the MNCs. Currently at Turing, I am with the international clients and inclined with that. So when we talk about data science, over here, the core focus is that, hey, can we make a model? Can we make a system which will help me to predict the future outcomes? Which will help me to predict the future specific results. So over here, the focus will be, the core focus is to make the model which will help us to make predictions for the future data. For example, let's say I will give you one use case. Let's say I'm staying in Bangalore. Now, in my society, let's say there are multiple flats and I'm planning to purchase one of the flat. I really want to look that if, let's say, today I will purchase this flat at the cost of 5 crore, what will be the final price after 5 years? Will that be giving me 100% return, 50% return, 30% return, and so on? So, in those specific instances where I will be having a current data, maybe somehow from management, I will be able to access the data of the previous years and how the percentage revenue people are able to generate in this society. From there, I will try to create a model which will be able to learn the patterns from that historical data and give me the insights that, Priya, if you will just try to purchase it today, maybe after 10 years, by 2036, this will be the final price of your house. It could be increased, it could be decreased, whatever be the case is, right? So that is the one thing where in data science domain, our main core idea, our main core focus is to work on the predictions, is to create an end-to-end model. Now, when we talk about data science field, the initial work is just analyzing only. Once you will be able to analyze data, then at the next specific part, your main focus will be to create a model which will help us to make the predictions. So that is the reason why you observe that, anyone who is working uh, in this space of data science, ideally they can also teach, they can also spoke about something called as DA domain. So I'll say that it's a small circle, data analyst domain, right? It's a small circle. Data science is kind of a bigger circle. DA is kind of a smaller circle. That is something which you can pre-assume. Now, when I'm saying data science is a bigger circle, why I'm saying so? Because it's a very vast domain. It includes different subdomains. For example, you might have heard about machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, right? Depending upon what exact type of data we are dealing with, we will be having different subdomains. And right now, Gen AI is something which is quite booming, which is again a part of NLP, textual data. So, data science, bigger circle, DA, smaller circle, you can imagine. And right now, we are focusing towards this DA part. Once you will be able to get a knowledge, then you should ideally able to get an understanding of the very first step in data science as well, that how can I analyze the data in a better way. After that, the next focus will be how can I create a model on top of it, right? Where machine learning stuff, Gen AI stuff will come into picture. I hope it makes sense and it is clear that what is the main difference between DA job roles versus data science job roles. All good. Can I get a quick confirmation in the chat window? Everyone is getting my point? Any questions? Anyone? Okay. And that's the reason why I usually say that when you start your journey, apply for DA roles, but don't stuck over there, because as we progress, as we have so many now LLM based tools which will help us to do the task, to do the analysis as well, try to switch to data science job afterwards. But in the starting point, if you apply for DA roles, first of all, it will help you to understand better that how can we analyze a data. You will be able to learn a lot when you will do a real time projects in the industries. And second thing, in terms of cracking the interviews also, it will be easy for you because you will be having a very lesser level of tech stack which is required when we talk about DA as comparable to when we talk about data science specific job role. So that's the thing. Next part. Next job role that we have is with respect to data engineering. Now, in data engineering, the core focus is to handle a very huge amount of data. The core focus is to handle a very huge amount of data and will create an end to end pipeline for the given data set. So usually you might have heard about a tech stack of big data. How many of you have heard this name? Big data. A data which usually handles a very huge volume of data. Any data which keeps on scaling uh, could be a core component or a core part of something called as big data, right? So over here, if you will be able to understand, we have the systems, we have a different tech stack altogether. For example, to store a very huge amount of data, we have something called as Hadoop. To process that big amount of data, we have something called as Spark. Have you guys heard of these names? So over here, the important tech stack is, for example, we should know about Hadoop to store a huge amount of data. Whereas when we talk about Spark, it is basically used to process a huge amount of data. Apart from that, different tech stacks like Hive, Scoop, knowledge of SQL, NoSQL, all of these things will be important, will be required when you want to enter into the domain of data engineering, DE domain. So I hope it is clear that these are the three different domains that we will be having. For now, our main focus is on DA and data science. Yep, this is where we do ETL. ETL actually comes in this data engineering itself. ETL. The full form of ETL is extract, extract, transform, and load. Now, this is something which you will do in DA subjects as well, but in a major proportion, this specific thing will be done in DE specific context. Okay. So, the people who are working in this data engineering domain, they will, if you will ask from them what is your day to day job, they will talk about all these tech stacks which I have mentioned in the bracket. Now, let's go back to our DA and data science for now. And maybe in future, if you feel that, I should be also having a good idea about DE, then you can start exploring about this specific world as well. Anyone now who is earning more in this world of AI? Anyone who is having a knowledge of all these three things. So ideally, if you know about DA, if you know about data science also, and you have built some interesting projects, and if you have a knowledge about data engineering also, it means that be it any specific project now, you will be able to handle that project in a pretty well mannered way, right? uh, I'm very grateful that when I started my journey in this specific data ecosystem, I started with data engineering. So almost 1 year I worked with a lot of projects in this DE space. At that point of time, Scala was one of the most prominent language. So we do all the implementation of Spark using Scala. Right now, we are doing everything with Python only, but that was the time around, I will say 2019. Okay. And now, uh, when I completed my masters, after that, I spent a lot of time working in data science domain. So when I worked in the data science, automatically this DA topic or DA concepts automatically gets clarified. So that's why I have a knowledge about these three domains itself. But if you are just starting it out, I won't suggest that start everything in one go. Start step by step. First of all, your ideal path could be to focus on a data and get a understanding that how can I analyze it in a better way. Then the next part will be, if I am very good in analysis, how can I create a end-to-end model which will help me to make predictions on top of that specific data. And after that, in future, if let's say I'm getting a very huge amount of data, how can I handle that data so that I will be able to process it, I will be able to get insights from it, I will be able to create a model on top of it, whatever be the cases, I will be able to attempt that. So if at the end of the day you want to become very good in DE data ecosystem, I would suggest that your main goal is to have a knowledge of all these three fields, but start with DA specific part. Now, shall we move further? Is it okay? Is it good till so far? Can we proceed ahead? Everyone is comfortable. आगे बढ़े. Nice. Interesting. Okay. Now, what we will do in this specific course. So, yes, in this specific course also, we will start with our journey of data analyst. And when we talk about data analyst, three things are important. I always say three things are important. First thing is your tech stack. Tech stack means, in terms of technical knowledge, what are the core important topics or the modules which we should be aware of? That's the first objective. So we have to be very good in terms of technical knowledge. And that is what makes us different from other people who will apply for the job. Because when you have a very good foundations, very good technical knowledge, that level of confidence speak for yourself, right? When you give the interviews, the kind of answers which you will give, automatically interviewer will also get impressed that okay, this learner will have a very good level of expertise. I always said that, in this era where we will be having a world of Gen AI, where everything we can generate in a easier way, uh, what can differentiate you with respect to others is the foundational knowledge. If you are not good with foundations, but you know that how can we hit an API, that knowledge is of no use. Yes, maybe for the industries, you will be able to deliver the products, but by the end of the day, when something gets changed, you don't know what is the possible reason behind it. For you, everything is a black box if you don't know the foundations pretty well. So ultimate goal is ki in this specific batch, now you have already entered, so my main goal is ki whatever be the important tech stack which is required, we will discuss about that, what is the important tech stack. But whatever technical knowledge is required, we will be able to um, get a better understanding of that in a very good way, right? Now, how we will be able to get that, I will talk about that specific plan as well. Second important thing is domain knowledge. What is the meaning of domain knowledge? So, almost 3 to 4 years back, there was a friend of mine who was working in HR domain. And at that point of time, I used to take the offline sessions in Bangalore. So he met me there, and he said that, you usually teach this DA subjects to everyone, and can you just let me know ki how can I make a switch? So one simple idea I told him that, just grab a technical knowledge from the specific course where I'm teaching, and apart from that, try applying for HR data analyst specific domains. Now he said that, how is it possible? Do we have these kind of opportunities as well in the firm? I said, yes, you can just go and explore that. And it's been almost 3 4 years. He's now working as a HR data analyst person only in the firm. The point is, ki if let's say there might be a lot of working professionals in my batch as well. Now, let's say you are saying that I have a very good experience in healthcare domain, or I have a very good experience in banking domain, or I have a very good experience in HR domain. Try to become a data analyst under that specific domain only. Try to become a data scientist under that specific domain only. Because whatever be the domain knowledge you have, that will be very helpful for you. And that experience will always be countable. That experience will always be worth it. It will help you to get a better analysis of a given data, which maybe I can't do because I don't have an experience of a domain. So the point over here is domain knowledge is always helpful. So if you have a good enough domain knowledge, that will be superb. So if there is anyone who is working in some XYZ domain, today after the session will get over, try to explore that, maybe you can ask from chat GPT simply that I'm working in this specific domain. Do I have some opportunities as a data analyst in this specific domain? If yes, can you give me some use cases? And also help me to understand that what are the specific positions uh, which companies are hiring for in this specific domain, in a DA specific part. So you will get a complete list, and you will get a complete use case as well, where exactly the companies are using the knowledge of DA in your work. By the way, when I'm saying DA, the short form of data analyst is DA. So I might say it multiple times, so you should know. The short form of data science, I might say as DS. And for data engineering, I might say as DE. Okay. I hope you all know that, but just for understanding per se, I'm just saying to you. Okay. So now tech stack done, domain knowledge done. What else? I told you three things are important. Any guesses? Anyone? What do you think? Any guesses? What do you think? Exactly. Exactly. Soft skills, storytelling skills, communication skills. Very good. The third important pointer is that how you will convey your work. Storytelling or soft skills or whatever keywords you have mentioned. I'm just writing it down. Communication skills. See, um, right now, I genuinely feel that if you are not that much good in tech stack, it can work for you. Because if you're not good in writing code, you can just try to use the co-pilots. They will help you to write a code. On top of it, you can just make an intuition that what exactly that part of code is doing. You can start building the logic, and then you can work on improvisation on it. If you are not good with the domain knowledge, still it can work, because once you start entering into the industries, you will gain that step by step after working for 2 years or 3 years. But if you are not good with communication skills, you won't be able to survive in the industry. I'm sharing this specific uh, part because I personally have seen there were a lot of friends of mine in IITs. Uh, I personally have observed that they have a very good tech stack. They have a very good knowledge. If I have to compare myself with them, I will find that okay, those people are kind of supreme, right, in terms of knowledge as comparable to me, if I have to compare my knowledge with respect to them. But the only what we can say drawback or limitation was that they won't be able to speak well in terms of whatever work they are doing. If let's say they're writing any complex code, if somebody will ask from them that, can you just explain the logic behind it, they don't know what to explain. Then automatically the intuition will be ki maybe that person has just copy pasted the code, maybe from chat gpt, maybe from copilot. That person don't know what is happening behind the scene, although that person have written the code from scratch. So the point over here is ki you should be able to explain your code, you should be able to explain your work, you should be able to explain your work to the clients, your insights, your reports. And that is number one skill. So if I have to prioritize between these three, communication skills I will prioritize as a supreme priority over here, followed by tech stack and domain knowledge. So if let's say you are saying that Priya, I'm not good at it, I'm not able to speak well, I feel shy, I'm not fluent in English, it's completely okay. This is the same problem which almost everybody usually face when they start their journey, right? The only thing is, if you know your problem, that this is where I have a limitation, this is where I'm not good at, you have to work hard doing that specific effort in terms of making it as your strength. How you can do that? Maybe when we have a live discussions, try to come on stage more frequently, ask your questions more frequently. If I'm giving a chance to the learners that you can come on stage and explain your work, explain your project, which we will do in the upcoming discussions, so try to come more often. This will help you to build the confidence, right? Secondly, try to read more novels. You can see in the back I have a bookshelf. Usually I have a habit to read the novels a lot. Right now, though, I'm not getting that much time, but when the commitments were less, uh, the deal was key. I used to spend at least one novel I have to finish within 1 month. That was the plan. So this is how you can also make a practice. Third thing, if you don't have anyone to speak nearby, or maybe you cannot speak at your home, you feel shy, or maybe you don't know that whether the someone will be able to understand your English or not, you can start speaking in front of your mirror, right? That will help you to understand your gestures, your fluency, and you feel that okay, this is where still I am lagging. Try to improvise it more. After some point of time, after few months of dedicated effort, you will be fluent at it. Because always remember, when you're working in this specific domain, especially, maximum number of times you have to deal with the US or UK clients. Maximum number of times. So over there, they are not even aware about Hindi language. Maybe very few people know about that. So English is the only medium via which you will be able to help them explain the insights, whatever you have gained. So the only way to convey them is to have a good fluency. When we say that communication skills, I'm not saying that you should be very good in grammatical part as well or vocabulary as well. Communication simply means over here that whatever you want to explain, whatever things, whatever insights you want to explain, you will be able to deliver it well. And if you will be able to do that well, then I feel that it is completely good. You're good to go. So that is the important things which you have to take care of: tech stack, domain knowledge, and communication part. Now, when we talk about tech stack, what exactly we have to learn in that? And that will help us to understand the uh, you know complete journey of our course as well, how this course will also flow. So when we talk about tech stack, there will be different modules of it. The very first thing is you should be aware about tools. For example, there are two tools which are very important in DA specific job role, and in future it will be helpful for you personally as well. uh, First one is Excel, and the second tool is Power BI. Both of these tools will help you to extract a data, transform it, ETL, which we were learning in the previous part of the discussion, in a great way. You will be able to clean the data in the Excel, also in the Power BI also. And after that, you will be able to create interesting visuals. You will be able to create interesting reports, dashboards, which will be helpful for the clients to understand your work. So when we talk about tools, these are the two main tools which we have to learn in the specific course. So we will start our journey with Excel, and after that, by the end of this specific course, you will be learning about Power BI as well. Now, in terms of Tableau is also one of them. So Power BI or Tableau, I'm using Power BI because that is something which is in quite high demand right now. But still, it could be the case that maybe you have learned Power BI in the specific course, but when you enter into the industries, they are using Tableau. It won't be difficult to make a switch once you know about Power BI. So tool is tool. Once you will be able to understand the functionalities of that specific tool, uh, so you will be able to get a context of it, you will be able to get the power of it, and then you can automatically spend some time to understand Tableau at your end. But learn it if it is required in your firm. If it is not required, there is no benefit of learning it. Power BI is more than enough in that context. Yep. Right now, Power BI is, I feel, more industry relevant as comparable to any other tool. Okay. That's the first tech stack which I have mentioned, tools knowledge. Now, this is a very easy, I can say, part where I ideally think that you should not face any difficulty. How you will, gain the workflow In this course, the plan is that on every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at night, 9 p.m. That's the maximum time I'm sharing to you. You will get a new video which is released. 3 days, new videos Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Sometimes it could be the case that, for example, today we already have a session on Saturday. So it could be the case that on Saturday we already have a live discussion. So on that case, in that specific scenario, you will have to learn whatever we have covered up in the live class. So either you will get a recorded video on these 3 days, or we might be meeting in a live mode. Usually on working days, because maybe there are people who are working professionals, there are people who used to go to colleges, they might don't have a time. On weekends, if there will be any live session, we will be holding it on uh, 9 to 11 a.m. ist only, the same timing where we met today as well. So that's the plan. In terms of doubt clearing part, we might meet on Sunday at 9 a.m. So Sunday is meant in future about doubt clearing sessions, right? So over here on Sunday, if you said ki Priya, now we have a lot many doubts and we just want to clarify with you, because we have learned from the, let's say, recorded videos, we have practically implemented, and there is something which is not clear to me. Can you repeat that specific topic? On Sunday, we will do the repetition of that. So ideally, on alternate days, on working days, you will get the new content. So over here, you will be working with a new content. So you will be learning new. I have taken a 1 day gap intentionally because I want to give you a time to grab whatever things we have done. One important thing, as maybe you will get a lot of recorded videos as well. The beauty about recorded videos plus live sessions combined together is that you will not lose the pace. Try to do the implementation with me. If you won't implement the stuff with me, even though you will watch the discussions 10 times, you might feel that, okay, I'm able to get a clarity, but that's an illusion for you, because implementation is very, very important. This entire course will flow in a way that you will be implementation, you will be able to implement the stuff, you will be able to create the projects end to end. My humble request to everyone is that whatever be the new topics you're learning, please do one thing: try to document your learning. Try to document your learning. Now, how will you document it? Because we're just starting our journey, it's the very first day. I always recommend you, because you will learn a lot in the specific course. By the end of this course, you will be having a lot of stuff with you, and you will feel proud, you will feel happy that, okay, I'm here. I mean, this could be your one of the bestest course in your entire journey. That is something which I can assure you, because I have spent a lot of time in terms of curating the content for you all. So please document your learning. When I'm saying documenting, for example, let's say you have learned something new, you can start creating a content on LinkedIn, right? Obviously, it will be under your feed, under your post section. So you know that, okay, this is something which you have learned, even if you will see that post after 1 year, right? After 2 years. So this is a very good way where people will also get to know that, okay, this is the person who is learning about the specific thing. You will start gaining the followers. You can tag me, and you can tag the specific course as well. For example, I usually see that, people try to summarize the journey, whatever pointers they have gained in every session on LinkedIn pretty well. You can use chat gpt to draft it in a proper formal way. uh, if you will tag me, automatically I will also start getting the notifications, and I will check your post. I will definitely comment it if I will like that specific post. I will try to share and repost as well if it is quite intuitive and it will be helpful for everyone in our community. The idea is to gain a knowledge and to share that knowledge. When you share your knowledge, that's the only, I can say, thing which keeps on increasing when you share that. When I started teaching, the knowledge, for example, is at this level. After teaching for this many years, the knowledge become this specific level. So it increased. Usually, when we share something, in terms of materialistic things, we get less, right? But knowledge is one of the key thing. If you will share to someone, they will first of all bless you, right? You will get a good blessings from them, and secondly, it will increase because you will get that level of motivation, that level of sense. When you draft the formal LinkedIn post, you will spend a lot of time in terms of what you have learned, right? Because you know that many people will saw my post, I have to post it in a proper way, in an appropriate way. So automatically, in terms of learning, everything will be drafted in your LinkedIn feed. Second, let's say you have created some projects in this specific course. Try to post those projects, upload that on GitHub, and post it again on LinkedIn. Plus, I will say right now, Twitter is also important platform. So in both of these platforms, you can draft a common post and you can just share in both of these platforms. And you can tag me in both of these platforms as well. Now, projects again, keep on uploading on GitHub. Even if you're doing Excel specific project, even if you're doing Power BI specific project, even if you're doing one wonderful end-to-end project which is actually using all the different tech stacks, try to upload it side by side, so that by the end of the specific course you will be having a proper documentation of everything. You can also create your notes on Notion. So I remember in my last year course of full stack data science, people created a complete module wise notes on Notion and they shared everything in the Telegram group. And you know, they have given the edit access, so anyone who is preparing really hard, everybody have the access, obviously the enrolled learners only, and they keep on adding the stuff. For example, let's say one learner went to the interview, they have mentioned in the Notion that this is the interview questions I have asked, interviewers have asked from me, and then what sort of answers I have shared, what mistakes I have done. So it all depends on you, ki how you want to build a great community over here, right? So all of these are the key ways which I have observed people are following it and they will be able to get a very good outcomes from it. If you will post on LinkedIn or Twitter, there are very high chances that companies start reaching out to you. HR people start reaching out to you for the job opportunities. So it all depends on the reach of your post. If it is high, chances are very high, right? Now, I hope the flow is completely okay with everyone. Is it clear? Let me just remove this. And this is something which is a different thing which we have covered up. Clear? Very good. So this is the, what I can say, complete workflow of the course. Great. Now, obviously, this workflow will start from next week onwards because this week, today also, and tomorrow also, I have a plan to take a live session, uh, so that I can just warm up. Just जैसे हम exercise करते हैं, when we do any exercise, we do warm up first, right? So this week is kind of a warm up where we are not exactly starting anything in terms of tech stack. We are just doing a quick discussions so that we should know about each other. You should know about your mentor, her level of teaching, the flow, so that when you start getting the recordings of her, you will feel like that somebody is already sitting with you and sharing you the insights, right? So this is kind of a warm up, and then from next week Tuesday you will get your very first video on MS Excel. Okay, everything with respect to notes, with respect to files, with respect to recordings of the class, whether it's a live class, recorded class, everything will be available in your dashboard itself. There is no need to ask from anyone randomly key where is the content, where is the recording. If you will see properly, everything will be available in your dashboard. Still, if you face any difficulty, you can always tag me in the Telegram group and I will happy to help you out in that context. Okay. I will keep on looking in from the next week onwards what exactly you will post on LinkedIn, and obviously we will see that who is the top notch person in this specific batch. I would say who will be consistent in this entire course. Usually, I don't announce this on public platforms on YouTube or when I announce about the courses, but in every course of mine, for those who are already a part of my previous courses, they might be aware about this fact. uh, we will do something sort of what we can say rounds where I will reward you as well. For example, by the end of this course, we will be having one end to end project where whatever key learnings you have gained from the specific entire course, we will try to implement it on the spot. I will give you one proper use case problem statement. I will give you a time of, let's say, 2 days. After 2 days, we will meet live. You will showcase me your work, and whichever work I will find it interesting, and that learner is also consistent in terms of curating the LinkedIn post, different projects, solving the case studies, helping the other learners. I will reward that specific learner with either some gift, or you might get a exact cash prize as well, which I will share with you via your UPI ID, and you can just share that on LinkedIn post as well. But that is the conversation which we will do by the end of the course. But that is something which will be tracked, so that by the end of the day we will be able to judge that okay, who is the one. Now, interestingly, it's not that we just have only one learner. If let's say there are three learners who are just consistent doing something which is amazing and I really like their work, three learners can also be chosen as the best learners in the specific batch. In every batch of mine, I usually follow this routine, and they either by the end of the course get something from my end at their doorstep, or I just transfer the money so that they can purchase something from their end. Perfect. I hope it is fine. Will there be a session to show how to post on GitHub? I mean, these kind of things you can just suggest to me, because I'm not sure that how many of you might be aware about it and how many of you don't know about this. If let's say uh, in a Telegram group, or you can just personally reach out to me via my email. I hope everybody knows my email ID. If somebody don't know, you can refer my LinkedIn. There you will get to know, or maybe in this document itself which you will get, welcome to Data Career Launchpad, I will attach my email ID as well. Now you can reach out to me and you can demand from me that Priya, uh, I am expecting this specific session because I'm not aware about this context. For example, one good session he mentioned that GitHub part, right? Maybe there are learners who are not aware that how to post the projects on GitHub. If let's say I have any of mine YouTube video for the same, I will upload that video on your dashboard. So you will watch that video and you will get to know that okay, this is something which I'm supposed to do. If I feel that this topic is very unique, I have never ever covered up this topic, and I don't have any as such recordings for the same, I will conduct a doubt clearing session or live session where we will discuss this that specific portion only. So the point over here is you can expect everything from me, but the point is you have to be consistent, you have to work hard. You should know that what exactly you need from my end so that I can share with you all. I hope it is fine. So please try to mail me. The more you mail me, for example, let's say today you have learned about some functions in MS Excel in the video. It's a self-paced video. You cannot ask doubts in a live mode, just like the way you are doing it right now. It's okay. You can just bookmark your questions. Either you can wait for Sunday's doubt clearing session. Better than that, again, I'm saying better than that. Maybe let's say you're learning on Tuesday. Session we have on Sunday. So ideally, you should not wait till Sunday. On Tuesday itself, you mailed me that, Priya, today I have learned this specific content. This is the difficulty I am facing. Can you just help me out? Now, if there is a difficulty which is very simpler for me, I will explain you on the spot in the same mail thread. If there is something which is quite complex and I feel that no, this could be possible only when I will be having a live discussion with that learner, then obviously you have to wait till Sunday. But I believe maximum of your queries will be resolved via mail itself. So don't feel shy in terms of mailing me. Properly mention that this is the timestamp, this is the video name, this is the topic name, this is the implementation issue. Share the snapshots of your implementation if you're getting some error, some issue, and I will happy to help you out over there as well. Okay, perfect. Let's move ahead. Now, tools knowledge is fine. What else we required in tech stack? Second thing, you should be good with Python programming. So, in terms of programming language, I'm expecting you to know about something called as Python programming. Why Python? Because with the help of this programming, you will be able to implement a lot more with a very lesser context. It means that this programming language a lot has a lot of inbuilt tools, inbuilt libraries. You can use those inbuilt libraries to analyze your data in a proper way, in an appropriate way. We'll learn about all of them in near future. One more thing, is everybody over here understand Hindi also? Or is there anyone who is uncomfortable with that? The indirect question is anyone who is from outside India and not at all know about Hindi language in terms of communication. I'm asking because uh, accordingly I will share the videos as well. So if people are aware about Hindi, so the videos could be in Hindi plus English. Uh, if okay, I got the answer. So there are people from US as well, so it's completely okay. Then we will only have a English only. Perfect, perfect. Great. So Python programming is something which we have to work on. Now, next, move ahead. Next interesting thing which you have to learn is maths. Now, when we talk about maths, people get a fear. Oh my God, we don't need maths. We don't want maths to learn. In mathematics, not everything is important. Majorly, statistical based knowledge is important. So, over here, when I'm talking about mathematical skills, please try to work on your statistical part. Whatever be the important topics which are required to analyze the data in an appropriate way, we will cover up in this specific course. Again, why this is important? Because when you try to create the visuals, maybe using Power BI, using Excel, using Python modules, you will be able to understand those visuals when you have a very good knowledge about the statistics. So stats plays a very important role in terms of that context. Now, apart from this, obviously your data will be stored in something called as databases. So in this specific course, we will be learning about something called as a MySQL database and how we will be able to fetch data from the SQL scripts. So we will be writing the SQL scripts and we will be able to extract a lot of data from there. So SQL is again a separate module that we will be having where we have to work with the simpler to advanced concepts of it, right? Now, in these modules, there could be some advanced topics where I feel that, let's say in future, recordings won't help. Recordings won't be helpful for you. Maybe if we will do live discussions, that will help you to get a better understanding of the sessions. So, in that context, we can have completely live discussions as well on every weekend. So, this flow will be there when we will be having the recorded discussions. But there will be few advanced topics in every module where I personally, if let's say feel that this recordings won't be much helpful for you, maybe if we can do a live session so that you can ask me the questions also side by side, we might switch to live discussions as well, which will be there on every weekend. If you have doubt, if you have time availability in the morning on working days as well, maybe I will ask from you guys prior. And if maximum people will say that we are available in the morning from 9 to 11 a.m. On working days as well, we might conduct the sessions on those days. I don't have personally any issue in that, but it's just that your confirmation will be required when we will be conducting the sessions in the working days. By the way, how many of you are available in the working days with the same timing of 9 to 11 a.m.? If let's say in future we will do live sessions, so how many of you are available on working days, maybe on Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. for the next 2 months? Okay, okay. Evening hours in working days. uh Evening hours meaning, so I when we have a working days session, so it will be on Tuesday and Thursday. Saturday though is itself a weekend only, so we can have a session. Okay. So we will discuss. I mean, few people are saying that they are available and they can manage for the next 1 2 months. Thank you so much for that. Few of them are saying that they are not available, or if they are available, they're available in the night. But at night, I'm not available. I usually have the meetings at night. In the morning, I'm usually free on working days, but in the evening and in the nights, I'm not available because I usually have the meetings at night from Monday to Friday. Okay, then we'll plan accordingly. Okay, perfect. That's the whole plan. Any questions in that? Yeah, I will announce it in advance only. Don't worry about that. Uh, I mean, on weekend, Saturday, Sunday, whenever we will be meeting, we will discuss that first, and then we will plan the upcoming week like that. So you can understand that these things could be dynamic, and based on our availability, we will conduct the upcoming discussions. In the recorded pace, so there is no issue, I believe. But in the live discussions, we can have a plan first, and then we will discuss mutually what could be the best timings which suits to everyone. Yeah, Saturday and Sundays are fixed. Now, again, as I have mentioned, that it could be the case key. uh, Sometimes you will only get the recorded videos, so in that context we just have a doubt clearing session. That also, if many people will say, for example, in the initial modules, doubts, I don't think there are many, because topics are very easy. In few of the topics, advanced topics, doubts are more, so we can have more sessions. So it's not like we have to do it, but the flow will be based on the complexity of our topic, and depending upon your needs as well, right? Yes, every live session will be recorded. For example, this live discussion that we are doing today, you will get the recordings of that by the end of the day. Okay. And every live discussion and the recorded discussion, you will get the content, whatever I'm writing over here, with you in your dashboard itself. Perfect. I have added already Telegram channel. Please look into your dashboard. There will be a document of welcome to Data Careers Launchpad, and over there you will be having a Telegram group. It's already there. Please check it out. Perfect. So understood the tech stack, everyone. Shall we move further now? I hope you guys are getting a clarity on how the course progresses, and this gives you a enough idea that what are the things that we are going to cover up over here. All good till so far? Shall we proceed further? Okay, perfect. Now, usually when we work in this specific domain, sure, Animesh, it's not an issue. Usually when we work in this specific domain, You might be dealing with a business use case. So, what we have to learn in this specific course is a mindset. We have to ultimately build the mindset. Dekho, it's quite easy to get the content available on YouTube as well. I'm not saying that over here somehow the content will be unique. No, you might able to get all these concepts for free. But why you are here and what exactly I want to help you out is building a mindset on how can we convert any business use case to a data science or DA specific problem. So what we have to do is we have to build a mindset of that. Now, how can we build that mindset? That's the next question. For example, uh, if I'm saying to you that my our business revenue, let's say I'm saying dropped by 15% last month. Please find out why, right? That's a common issue which I think many companies, many firms are facing. And as a DA person, you have to understand, you have to let me know that what could be the possible reason for the same. How can we do that? How can we attempt that? That is where a possibility of building a mindset will be there. Now, maybe somebody will say that, I will try to create a ML model for the same, which will help me to get a understanding that why this drop is happening. Somebody will say that, Priya, what I will do is I will use Python programming and I will share with you the insights for that. Somebody will say that, Priya, I will create the dashboard for you and that will help you to get a better understanding that why in your business revenue dropped by 15%. Somebody will say that, Priya, I will use the SQL to get you an intuitive idea. But none of these answers actually solves the problem. I'm not asking you about SQL. I'm not asking you about Python programming. I'm not asking you to create a ML model. I'm not asking you to create dashboards for me. What I have asked from you, what was my main problem? Why did my company's revenue dropped? So you have to share with me the final insights. I don't care about whether you are learning, whether you are using ML model, whether you are using Python programming, whether you're creating a complex dashboard. Ultimately, what I'm looking forward from you is the simple answer. Why is that so? What is the reason behind it in a complete results manner, in a recommended actions? So, in reality, what we do, first of all, we try to understand the business use case. We try to work on understanding the business use case. For example, you will ask from me that, okay, the revenue dropped, but can you just let me know what is your business all about? What exactly you are doing in your business? I'll say that, okay, it's all about educational services. I used to sell my courses or the products on my website Tech for All with Priya. You will say, okay, can you just share with me some Excel files from past few years wherever you have started? Let me just analyze that data. So you have to understand my business first rather than directly jumping towards the tech stack part, because I don't take care about that. Then the second thing is you have to ask the right questions. If I'm giving you some problem statement, don't directly jump towards solutions of it. And that's the number one problem which many people usually does. If let's say some interviewer is asking you some question, they will ask you some open ended question. And if you directly jump towards solution, that is a wrong approach. You will always end up giving a very vague result. To get better insights, you always ask the right questions from them. Based on those right questions, you will try to collect data. Maybe that data could be easily accessible from the dashboard itself. Maybe the data is publicly available. Maybe the data can be available from DB. By writing SQL queries, you will be able to access it. Whatever be the cases, then you will try to create some model to analyze the patterns of your data. And based on those patterns, you will be able to generate the insights. Now, once you will be able to generate insights, based on that, you will be able to recommend the possible actions. And finally, accordingly, you will measure the results. So, for example, you can say that, uh, Priya, whatever be the patterns I have observed from your data, I have observed that the sales are decreasing because of a lack of marketing. You're not doing an appropriate marketing. You're not targeting the appropriate audience who is actually interested in purchasing your course. So try to work on that. And then you are providing me action, key work on that. Maybe you can apply targeted marketing for the correct audience. And finally, if you will do that, in that context, your revenue will increase in the next month by 40%. So you have given me a proper view of it. What is the problem? How can I fix that problem? And if I fix it, what is the possible outcome I will be able to get in the next month? That's what I'm expecting from you all. Once you will be able to get the clear understanding of all the tech stack. So to get the right questions, to get the data, to analyze the pattern, to generate the insights, to recommend the actions, you need the tech stack. But finally, my deliverables should be in a proper way where I will be able to explain why is that happening, what is the possible issue, how can I fix that issue, and once I will fix that issue, how can I measure those results. I hope it is clear to everyone. In that context, in that context, we have different types of DA. As per this conversation, we have different types of data analytics, data analysis, you can say. Majorly speaking, we usually deal with four types. We usually deal with four types, I would say. What are those four types? Let's try to understand. First one is what we called as descriptive analysis. What is the meaning of descriptive analysis? Over here, your core focus is to analyze the past performance of the company and to analyze the trend. So, over here, descriptive analysis usually works on what exactly insights you have gained from the past data. So, over here, the complete focus will be on doing the analysis of the past performance to analyze the trend, which helps the company to understand any underlying issues. The second component is what we called as diagnostic, where you will focus on why. So over here, you usually try to create a line plot to eventually see the trend of your workflow. Ki how the from the past, let's say 6 months, my trend of revenue looks like. Is it an increasing? Is it in a decreasing trend? So that it will be able to give me an analysis. Ki the drop is not from last month. Maybe the drop is from last 3 months, like that. So in descriptive part, I'm using a past data, historical data, creating a plot on top of it to get a better understanding that what is happening in my firm. In diagnostic part, now I will try to understand the root cause. I will work on understanding the root cause. If the sales are decreasing, sorry, if the revenue is decreasing, what is the possible reason behind it? What is the root cause problem of it? So over here, we know that company is facing a downward trend. We will try to understand the reason why the company is facing a downward trend. Now, it could be the case that you will say that, Priya, this is, as I have mentioned, maybe because of lack of marketing. or it could be the case of lack of demand of those courses which you are selling, or it could be the case of uh, higher price of the course. Whatever be the case is, I mean, you have just figured it out. Ki these could be the possible reasons behind it. In the third part, after diagnostic, you will go for predictive. In predictive analysis, you will help me to identify that if the same trend will keep on happening, what will be the future of this firm. So you will do something called as forecasting. So over here, you will analyze that if I won't apply any specific action as per my descriptive analysis, how the future months looks like. So in a way, you are saying to me that Priya, if you won't do any specific action right now, maybe by the end of 2028, you will be having a very lesser revenue. It could be lesser down to 10,000 per month. So I got a clear idea that, okay, I have to apply some action now. So over there, we will be having the last part, which is called as prescriptive. So in prescriptive, what we ideally do is we will try to work on getting the solutions. So over here, you as a DA person will help me to provide the suggestions based on the analysis that you have performed. Eventually, this will help me to do the improvement in the product, for example, or you are saying that you can do a marketing of the product, something like that. So that's the whole plan. So over here, we will be either working on diagnostic part, descriptive part, predictive part, or prescriptive part. Is it clear to everyone? All good? Samajh mein aaya? What are the four key components that we have? So either we will be working in the forms in the descriptive portion where our main focus is on analyzing the past performance, or we will be working with respect to the diagnostic part where our main focus is to identify the root cause analysis, or our main focus is on the predictive part where we will try to predict how the future sales looks like if we won't do anything right now. And then the prescriptive part, it's like when you go to the company, not company, when you go to the hospital, uh, you said to the doctor that, hey, I am facing a bit of trouble in my stomach is paining a lot whenever I eat something. So doctor ideally says that, can you go for ultrasound, right? So doctor usually diagnose the disease first by doing some test, and after doing a proper diagnosis they can give you the prescription, they can give you some medications to avoid that issue. And they eventually say that if you won't take this prescription, if you won't take this medication, this can happen in the worst case. So you will be awake by saying that, okay, I have to take it by any chance because I don't want my health to compromise. I hope you're getting my point. Yes, a DA person can do all the four. So you should be ideally good with the descriptive part, diagnostic part, predictive part, and prescriptive part. In predictive part, your knowledge of machine learning comes into picture, right? Maximum number of time we try to work on these two components, but if there is anyone who is very good in these two components as well, means in machine learning models and in providing the appropriate suggestions as well, that would be wonderful. People will always appreciate you. That's why in package number 3 in our course, if you observe, I have added ML course as well. So it's kind of an add-on. Once you will be able to get the descriptive and diagnostic part, then you can start working on the predictive part by working on that specific course. Okay. I hope it is fine till so far. All good. I hope you guys have enjoyed till so far whatever conversation I have done. Shall we proceed ahead? One important thing, by the end of every module, Always remember, by the end of every module, we will be having something called as project rounds. It means that, for example, you have learned about Excel, let's say as the very first module. So you will be working on creating Excel specific projects. When you learn about Power BI, you will be working on creating the Power BI specific projects. Then, when you learn about Python, Python specific projects. When you learn about stats, EDA specific projects. When you learn about SQL, SQL specific projects. I usually adopt the specific technique in every batch of mine because that will help you to gain a wonderful experience in the entire discussions. And those who will be having end-to-end projects, I find it quite insightful. You guys might get a chance to go live with me on YouTube. How many of you have seen those discussions with the learners of mine? So last year also I did the same thing. Maybe you guys have watched those discussions as well with the few learners. So in every specific discussions, we will be having the projects after ending of every module. And I will just try to choose few of the learners who are doing it really good. We can have one-to-one meeting as well, where I will just share with you few more insights on improvising it further, and then we will plan live discussions accordingly. So whosoever will be the one who is having a very good end-to-end implementations will go live. We will try to discuss with everyone, and we'll try to showcase your work with the entire audience on YouTube. Okay, so there are multiple things like this which we have planned. Many of them I have already shared with you all, but still if there's something left, you'll get to know side by side, but that's the core plan. The last part of our today's discussion, I hope we can start that as well. So we have talked about data ecosystem, right? Data data is the important keyword over here. When we talk about data, what we understand with this term, it simply indicates that, okay, the information or whatever be the raw facts that we will be having, right? That's what we call as data. Now in terms of data, whenever we are dealing with a data, we have different flavors of data. And when you start the specific data ecosystem part, you should be aware about different flavors of it. Anyone can guess what are the different types of data that we will be having? Anyone can guess what are the different types of data that we will be having? In practical real time in industries, how many different types of data that we will be having? The very first type is what we called as structured data. Structured data meaning that you will be having a data in the form of proper rows and columns, have appropriate structure containing rows and columns. For example, uh, in our next part of our discussion, when we start our Excel module, this Excel files which you will deal, you will observe that it is nothing but it's a proper table, right? Which contains appropriate rows, appropriate columns. We have a proper header, column headlines, number of records. So this is something which could be considered as a structured data. The second category that we will be having belongs to unstructured data. In unstructured data, we will try to say that, any data which does not have an appropriate structure. For example, when you deal with data like audio, video, images, these data point does not have an appropriate structure, right? So that is something which could be a part of unstructured data. Then we have something called as semi-structured data. In semi-structured data, uh, we have a mixed form of structure and unstructured data. Something like you can consider the JSON files that we will be having. How many of you have seen JSON files? Something like XML files that we will be having. Something like what we can say, HTML files that we will be having. So either in the real time, you will be working on a structured data. In our DA work, maximum number of time, in fact, we will be working with the structured data only. But apart from that, in data science, we work with unstructured data as well. We worked on audios, videos, images based data in deep learning specifically. And in the semi structured part, we have a mixed version of both of them. We cannot call it completely structured, also. We cannot call it completely unstructured, also. For example, these JSON files, if you can see, if I'll just showcase you the images of it, these files are in the form of rows, dictionaries. So you can see in these files, I hope everybody can see my screen. We have a data in the form of key value pair. If you don't know about this dictionary data structure, it's completely okay. Maybe in the upcoming sessions, I'll discuss that in detail. But you can understand that it's not having any proper structure. No, as such, tables are there where we can define that these are the rows, these are the columns. But still, we cannot make it as a unstructured as well. So it's in a mixed format. So we can call it as a semi structured data. I hope it is fine. It is okay. So it's kind of a partially, we can say they are partially organized data, not properly organized. Perfect, guys? All good? Can I get a quick confirmation? Everyone? Is this fine? Perfect. Now, by the end of every session, you will get some tasks. So make sure you will attempt those tasks at your end. Let's take this much for today. And the task for today's session is you need to um work on exploring real time case studies of the companies like Uber, Zomato, Google, hospitals, or we can say healthcare domains, on how they are using data analytics in their daily work. And you have to share with me this real time use cases, real time case studies in the upcoming discussion. For example, uh, in healthcare domain, what usually happens is that to analyze the patient's data so that they can further analyze it in a better way, medical imaging, genetic information, electronic health records, their trends, their patterns, their correlation to improve diagnosis, to improve the treatment. People are using this DA thing. Similarly, how in the sector of Uber part, where the main core idea is to find the shortest uh, and the nearest driver, shortest route and nearest driver, how this Uber is helping internally in terms of doing a DA part and giving us a nearest driver whenever we book a cab. Same thing is for, let's say, recommendation systems also. Everywhere in the real time, you will observe that DA and data science is working in the backend. So try to look at your end. From this specific discussion, we will start our story tomorrow in the morning. We'll meet again tomorrow and we'll work on that further. But that is something which I really want you guys to first of all explore at your end. I hope it was fine. Can we do that? So, whatever discussions we have done, based on that, try to look for real time case studies. And in the morning tomorrow, share with me that what exactly you have figured it out. For example, how Google company is using this DA part, how Uber is using it, how Zomato is using it, how this recommendation systems. For example, you must have observed that whenever I book something, whenever I order something on Amazon, it will give me a suggestion that you can buy this as well. as a pair. I hope everybody have observed this. So there could be some association, there could be some pairing which happened. By default, let's say if I am ordering iPhone, it gives me a suggestion that try to purchase charger with that. So those recommendations are quite genuine, maximum number of times. So how is that happening? How my system will get to know that okay, if I'm using A, I might need B as well. So all of these things you will have to see at your end. You can refer the articles, you can refer the platforms like ChatGPT to explore at your end the case studies of it. With that, our first orientation session of this specific batch will be over. I hope that you have gained a clarity now that how the course will progress, what are the main things that we will be learning, what are the core insights that we will be having in this specific course. And I really hope that this specific discussion will be helpful and insightful for you all to bring a clarity that how this course will progress. If you have learned something new, please try to share it on LinkedIn again. From today itself, you can get started the specific part, and I will definitely look forward to it. So, what we have learned, just do a quick summary of it. So, today we started our discussion talking about data ecosystem. We have talked about the main difference between DA versus DS versus DE. After that, we switched our core focus to DA. We have seen that three things are important: tech stack, domain knowledge, and communication skills. In tech stack, we have focused on four different modules majorly. First one is about tools, where we will discuss about Excel and Power BI. Second one is about programming language. We discuss about Python in the future. Third one, mathematics, where stats is important. MySQL, where SQL scripts are important to write. After this, we have seen that with respect to every completion of a use case, every completion of a module, we will be having a project rounds. And those who will be able to create wonderful projects have an opportunity to go live with me on YouTube, and we will be having a discussions over there. After this, we have seen that how the flow will be there. On every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you will get a recorded discussions. Sunday, we will be having doubt clearing session. Try document your learning from the very first day. Create a content on YouTube, sorry, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Notion if possible. Wherever you will create a project, try to upload them on GitHub. Then we talked about one business use case and what's the end of the outcome which everybody is looking from your end. So we don't look for any specific approach which you have used. What we look for is your insights and what are the recommended actions in near future which we can make over here. We have talked about based on that four different types of data analysis part: descriptive, where focus is on what; diagnostic, where focus is on why; predictive, where focus is on forecasting; prescriptive, where focus is on providing the automatic recommendations, suggestions based on whatever with the problem we are facing. After this, we have seen data. Data is nothing but information or raw facts. We have talked about types of data, where we have discussed three main types: structured, unstructured, and semi structured. And that's the overall context of today's discussion.